Hello and welcome to a new vlog and ship video in cooperation with ReiseJung. We're taking a look at the last 3 days on board of the Swiss Diamond. On our Christmas shopping cruise we will be in Düsseldorf and then we will be in Koblenz and back in Hanau. Here on the map you can see our approximate route of those days. We are starting close to Düsseldorf. Here we are already approaching Düsseldorf, where we arrived shortly before lunch, and here we are sailing past the newest ship of the company Skilla. This is the owner of the Swiss Diamond, and this is the newest ship of this company, the Lumière. And we got a chance to take a look at this very impressive cruise ship. As it is the same company than our Swiss Diamond, we had a chance to take a look at this ship, which was a hotel ship at this moment. Here we can see the beautiful Lumière docked in Düsseldorf as a Viva Riverside hotel ship. And as you can see, it is a very impressive cruise ship with a very beautiful and nice interior. It will be sailing for Tauk, which is a luxurious cruise company. As you can see, it's also a luxurious ship. Here we can see one of the many suites on board and the beautiful atrium with the glass roof. So it is a very impressive cruise ship. After visiting the Lumière, it was time to head back on board and guide our guests to the next tram stop, because we have a very special excursion. We have a tram tour with a historic tram in Düsseldorf. Here we can see the tram with the number 2501, which was built in the year 1956. We originally chartered a different train, but that broke down last minute, so we got this one as a replacement, but it was also a very nice train. And now we're gonna see Düsseldorf for 2.5 hours comfortably from our old historic tram. Here we are going past the main station and we are now heading to the Medienhafen, the media harbor, which is a very modern part of the city. In between we're gonna see some of the old buildings. And of course there are also some stretches that are not too spectacular, as we have to follow, of course, the tram tracks, so we have sometimes to go through less spectacular parts. But our local guide was fantastic, and she even managed to tell interesting things about things that do not look interesting. So that was very nice and interesting to learn more about the city, and also to see a bit of the parts of the city that you usually do not see as a tourist, that are not part of the standard bus round trips. We made a stop at the media harbor. Also a toilet stop, of course, as there is no toilet in trams. We had 2 stops with a possibility to go to the toilet. It's also quite nice to see our old tram in contrast to the modern buildings. And now we're heading into the city center as close as we can get. Here we can see the TV tower in the background, the Rheinturm. We're now getting close to the so-called Kö. It's the Königsallee, which is the famous shopping street of Düsseldorf, where you will find all the expensive brands. Of course, we cannot get too close. Once again, we have to follow the tracks of the tram, but here we can see a bit of the Kö in the background. And then we are going past the probably most luxurious and biggest supermarket in Germany, Edeka Zurheide, which is also here in Düsseldorf, on our way to an old depot of the tram, where we can see some more old trams here of Düsseldorf. Here we can see the supermarket in the background, and now we're on our way to the depot. We cannot go inside the depot, but we can take a look through the doors and see some of those old trams. You can charter the trams directly with a tram company of Düsseldorf called Rheinbahn, and you can charter even some older trams, but they are a bit smaller, so that's why we decided to go for the train that we are on right now. But it's always interesting to travel with those old trains, and that's why I like excursions like this, because they combine city tours and train tours. So it's perfect for me, of course, as you can explore a city and an old train. So that's of course very interesting. After the second stop, it was already dark outside, which is not too bad in the Christmas time, because you can see all the beautiful lights. There's just one downside. Of course, you cannot turn the lights off in the tram, because then car drivers cannot see the tram because it looks dark from the outside. Therefore, the lights have to stay on. But my tip is, if you want to take pictures or videos, just hold your camera or phone directly to the window, and then it also works when the lights are turned on in the tram. Here we are at the Shadowstraße, where we have the Christmas market, or one of the many Christmas markets of Düsseldorf. We're now going past it, back to the tram stop where we started, and the guests had a choice. They can either leave at the station close to the docking location of the ship, or at the Schadowstraße later on the way back and visit the Christmas markets of Düsseldorf. I also visited the Christmas markets, and after that I headed back to our beautiful Swiss Diamond. There are several Christmas markets in the city center of Düsseldorf, spread all over the city center. There's one also directly next to the docking location of our Swiss Diamond, and here we can see the beautiful skyline of Düsseldorf and our wonderful ship. And then it was already time to leave Düsseldorf. Here we can see the Christmas market with a Ferris wheel. And now we're heading to Koblenz, where we will be arriving in the morning of day number 7. Here we can see the parliament of the County Nordrhein-Westfalen and the Rheinturm again, and then it was time for yet another fantastic dinner on board. And after dinner we had a relaxed evening on board, and then it was time to go to sleep. And when I woke up in the next morning, we were already docked in Koblenz. Here we can see the Geoffrey Chaucer, which was part of our fleet last year, and here we can see the Nobleman. The Nobleman is our anniversary ship. We have chartered this ship for the Advent and Christmas cruises this year. It's a new build ship, built in 2025, and as ReiseJung is celebrating 10 years of ReiseJung, we will have some special anniversary cruises, jubilee cruises on the beautiful Nobleman. In the afternoon we also visited the city center of Koblenz, which is always worth a visit. They have a nice Christmas market that's also worth a visit, and also the famous Deutsche Eck, where the river Mosel and Rhine are meeting. In the afternoon we left Koblenz and we're now sailing past the famous Marksburg Castle, beautifully illuminated, and then it was time for the farewell gala evening and dinner, and of course also the dinner was fantastic again. The main highlight of this dinner was the dessert for me, because there was a lava cake, and I love lava cake. It was perfectly done, and of course that's much better than the traditional baked Alaska, which is just too much sugar for me. Here we can see the Charles Dickens. This was our ship for the Advent cruise in the year 2024. And in the next morning we were arriving back on time in Hanau, the home port of ReiseJung, and here this beautiful cruise came to an end. But it was not yet time to say goodbye to the Swiss Diamond, because we have one more short cruise, and that will be the topic of the next upcoming video. Here you can see when this video will be uploaded and the name of the song. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, or share the video link, and I hope to see you in the next video, or maybe one day on board of one of our ReiseJung cruises.